This is my d.link deck profile for February 2026. Burst Protocol's out. Pretty excited to showcase this. I think this is probably my favorite deck, although I feel like I say like every deck is my favorite deck on the channel. But yeah, let's get into the profile. So the first three, Rokket Loader, the new normal summon. Summon it, you add a level 7 Dark Dragon from your deck to your hand, and then it locks you into Dark Monsters from the extra deck for the rest of the turn. Really powerful. The deck really needed a strong normal summon, and this provides it. And you can also banish it to target a link monster you control or a monster you control, and it becomes dark. And that is a big deal when you have to do combos with Dragon Ravine and Romulus, and that's something I will talk about a little more later. I went with 3 Abstrider Dragon. I think it's one of the better extenders in the deck. You just have to control a Rokket to summon itself, and then if it's sent anywhere to the graveyard, you can add a Rokket from your deck to your hand. So yeah, this is closer to, I wouldn't say a pure Rokket list, but there's definitely more Rockets than usual. Next, 2 Tracer. Quick effect, it pops something, summons a Rokket from the deck. You could play 3. This is now a 1-card starter. So you could definitely bump up the numbers, but I think 2 is a good ratio, considering we are also playing another normal summon in the deck. And then for the miscellaneous Rockets, 1 Silver Rokket, 1 Magna Rokket. They're probably the best of the traditional ones. If it's targeted by Link Monster's effect, it'll destroy itself and then send a monster on the field to the grave. And then this lets you take a look at your opponent's extra deck and banish a card. So really powerful. You get to banish, and you just having the knowledge is really important. And then the other one-ofs, 1 Caliber. Doesn't come up in every combo, but does come up sometimes. And is a really good extender now, especially because Trisboral points down, so it's really strong. 1 Recharger, kind of the classic one that you run, and then 1 of the new Detonator, which is really important for the combos. It helps when you're equipping things or equipping links to your monsters to then summon them back, and that is involved in some of the combos. But for the rest of the Rokket cards, 3 Quick Launch, arguably best card in the deck. 1 Boot Sector Launch. There's only 1 Striker Dragon, so you run 1 Boot Sector. I would actually consider playing this at 2 if I bump the Rokket count up, or if a Striker Dragon came back, and once we get Rokket Barrage, I think you could definitely consider playing more than 1 of this, because those builds have a lot of Rokket monsters. Then the other spell, Double Interlock. I also considered playing 2 of this. I think this card is really good. You use it in the combo to make Fatal Flare, but you can obviously also make Borlid Furious, which is really strong. And I think that's really good on the crackbacks like turn 3 or turn 4, but we're only running 1 in the deck. The other normal summon, 3 Black Metal Dragon. Really nothing to say. The 1 Darkness Metal and the 1 Dragon Ravine. I initially, when building this deck, I really wanted to cut Dragon Ravine. It's not a bad card, but when you need this to access the Rokket engine, I feel like your combos are a little more vulnerable and susceptible. I was trying to find ways to cut this, but then I kind of realized if you cut Dragon Ravine, you can still play Black Metal Dragon, but I don't think you get as much value out of it. But I do continue to play it. I think it is a good starter. It's a 1-card starter, obviously. So then the next couple cards, I guess 5 of the 6, you could play really any extenders, but these are just the ones I chose. So the one I'd say mandatory, Bestial Magnamut. If you're playing a dragon deck, you gotta run this card. And then Drosworm, Soraneer, Baldrake. You could play Bestial Lupellion and Brained Reeking and Brained Beast. I chose to cut all of those. I tried to keep this to 40. It ended up being 42, but I think the future of this deck could definitely be maybe a 50 or 60 card build even, because there's so many good cards that are just not running. 1 Noctovision Dragon, really good extender. You could also consider bumping this to 3 or 2, increasing the numbers. I just chose to run 1, and it is searchable. And then the last extender, World Legacy Guard Dragon. Generic card, not a monster, which I thought was a big deal. An extender that isn't a monster. And the movement of the zones effect Doesn't really come up as much anymore, but it can still be helpful. And then the non-engine, you can kind of just run whatever you want. I play a lot of generic stuff that kind of pertains to my locals, so 3 Ash, just generically good. 3 Ghost Spell, 3 Imperm, then 2 Droll. And then I think, as I mentioned, this is 42 cards, so I included Called By and Crossout. I think you should run these. This is a super heavy combo deck, and I think especially this, Droll hurts this deck really badly. It used to hurt badly, and now it hurts even more, because the deck just does so much searching now. But that is the main deck, 42 cards. Just what I chose to play. A lot of room for improvement, and there are definitely a lot of different ways to build this deck. As I mentioned, you can have a higher Bastille package, you could make a bigger Rokket package, a smaller Rokket package. I chose not to play Metal Morph in this deck. I think the engine's fine, but I don't want to play too many 1-0s. That's why I chose to cut it. But yeah, there's just so many things you can do with the deck. And then moving on to the extra deck, we'll start with the Link 1s. So 1 Pisty, 1 Striker Dragon. With Pisty, you still run it, but you don't really need it. There are combos where you need it, but you could consider cutting this. You could also run the Blue Eyes Link 1, the 1 Romulus. The card I did try to cut, it does become awkward when you need Romulus to access your Dragon Link package, but you're not able to turn it into a dark with a Rokket Loader. That's one of the kind of issues I identified. You really want to try to avoid that. It can be a little awkward. I think when Rokket Barrage comes out, I think you can cut this in Dragon Ravine completely, but I still think it's a very good card. 1 IP Masquerena, of course, 1 SP Little Knight, 1 Heretic Seals. Still have to run it. This card is really, really good. If you're running something like Fallen of Albaz or Grand Tusk Dragon, or something where you can get extra value, it's really, really powerful. But in general, it is harder to make in your combo now, because Rokket Loader locks you into darks, and it's one of the better starters. So there's a lot of times where you just don't make this. It's almost more of a follow-up card, in my opinion, but still worth running. 1 Dark the Dark Charmer. Not playing Access Code, you can use this to go into IP or SP. I would consider cutting this to play another sort of big monster or boss monster. I think that might be a better selection. 1 Delingris Dragon, super important for the combo. I chose not to play Quad Boral. This could probably be Quad Boral instead, but just kind of the direction I went with. Trisboral. This card is amazing. It searches your double trigger. It has 2 arrows that point down, which is huge. You no longer have to play Triple Burst Dragon, which is a pretty big deal. And both arrows pointing down means your Guard Dragon plays are super, super easy. And then for the Link 5s, of course, Boral End and Boral Shroud. I'll be honest, I think the end board of both of these guys in like Dispatter or SP, I don't actually think it's that good, but it is pretty cool to summon both turn 1 and have them both on the field at the same time. Monster Negate and then Omni Negate, and they'll trigger your Rockets. Really, really good. And the rest of the cards, 1 Fatal Flare, really good for the combo. 1 Furious, we're only running 1 of the fusion spell, so you can't summon both of these in the same game. That's why I kind of considered playing 2, because I think it's a good follow-up card. But there are definitely situations, maybe going second, where you kind of get interrupted, and this can be a better choice because it'll help you break your opponent's board. And I think I mentioned this in the last Dragon Link deck profile. I don't have a Bastille Dispatter, so I chose Draco Berserker of the Tenyi and Evil Swarm Nightmare. Banishes stuff and flips stuff, and is not once per turn, so really, really powerful. But yeah, that's the deck profile. Still a work in progress, definitely. I think I'm going to bring this to locals this weekend, see how it does, and then tweak it from there. There's definitely still a lot of variations on how to play it. I don't think I'm gonna do a combo video. I might leave a link to an unlisted video where I do some combos or some test hands. That'll probably be in the description or in the comments. But yeah, that's the deck profile. If you enjoyed it, leave a like, consider subscribing to the channel, and hopefully I'll see you in the next one.